Okay, so last week we covered the flood. We looked at the second half of chapter 6. We covered chapter 7 and chapter 8, right? So today we're going to look at the aftermath, what happens after. And it's kind of interesting, okay? So let's have a word of prayer, and then we can jump in chapter 9. Let's pray. Father, we just want to thank you for your blessings, your grace, your love, how you take care of us. Thank you because we're here tonight just to listen to you and your word. Speak to us. May we learn from you. And God bless anyone else who may join us. We pray for everybody. We pray for your love. We pray that you may heal anyone who may be sick. And for these things we pray in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, so here goes chapter 9. It says, Then God blessed Noah and his sons, saying to them, Be fruitful and increase in number and fill the earth. What does it mean to be blessed? When God blesses Noah, what does that mean?
He brings good things into life. Gifts.
Absolutely. So people say, I want your blessing. What does that mean? All right. So when God blesses us, he wants us to do well. And right now, he wants Noah to do well because he's starting creation all over again. Remember, everything is wiped out. And Noah is like our father, because Adam was the first guy, but he's gone, okay? And Noah is the one who's left. So we all descend from Noah. So it's important. Now look at what he says. He says, be fruitful and multiply. The same instructions he gave to Adam and Eve. The whole sequence starts all over again with Noah. And we're going to see that tonight. Okay? So God blesses Noah. And when God blesses you and me, he wants you and I to do well. All right. 2, the fear and dread of you will fall upon the beasts of the earth and all the birds of the air, upon every creature that moves along the ground, and upon all the fish of the sea. They are given into your hands. So the last part people kind of understand. They are given into your hands. He's given us dominion over everything. Same thing that happened with Adam and Eve, right? Everything. It's called dominion theology. We are supposed to be good stewards of the earth. We're put in charge. But the first part of this verse is interesting. It says the birds and everything that lives and every little animal will fear you. Mm-hmm. And what that means is, okay, for the most part, animals and sharks and anything else that lives leaves us alone. Most times it's when humans mess with them, right, that they attack us. So apparently God has put this boundary, okay, between animals and us. So I am guessing, we think, that if God hadn't put that invisible boundary here somewhere, they'd be jumping all over us. And we'd be fighting animals every day. But that doesn't happen. Sometimes a deer tries to cross the street, we run over him and that sort of thing. Sometimes a bear goes crazy and he goes into town and he gets in your car and stuff like that. but those are mistakes. Those are mistakes. For the most part, they live over there, they leave us alone. Interesting, right? Mm-hmm. And you really don't think about it until it comes up in the verse like that. You go, huh. Right? And for the most part, we are the ones who mess with the animals. We chop down trees because we want to build new homes. And we mess their environment. We mess up their nests. We kill their children, little babies that they may have. It's what we do. Right? Animals don't really mess with us. I think that's interesting. Even sharks, we're told by scientists, they don't bite us just because they want to bite a human being. It's just that, they confuse us with another fish or something else, right?
We're in their world.
We're
in their world.
Yeah, we jump into their water. People say, well, why did the shark bite me? Because you jumped in the water. How's that? That's where they live, So it's just an interesting thing when you think about it that way, you know. Anyway, that's there, and we're going to hear more about animals in a minute. Okay. Verse 4. But you must not eat meat that has its lifeblood still in it. So let me stop there. God's going to give us anything to eat. Anything. But here's what he says. It means, so this is important for us because people sometimes try to live out these laws from the Old Testament, right? Mm-hmm. What people don't understand is the laws that were given were for the people of Israel when they were in the desert. They just left Egypt. They're in the desert. They don't know what to eat and what not to eat. So God, to protect them, said, you can eat these things, you cannot eat those things. Those laws were only for the 40 years that they were in the desert. Then they kept them. And a lot of Christians try to do that. And it makes no sense. Even from the beginning, we can eat any animal, anything. Okay? There's only one thing that God tells us is don't drink the blood. It was like, ooh, what does that mean? Okay? Especially for Puerto Ricans, because tenemos la morcilla, you know? Oh, but it has nothing to do with that. So here's the deal. You know about animal rights, right? This is about animal rights. Human beings didn't invent animal rights. God did. So what God is saying is you cannot eat of an animal unless it's dead. If the blood is still flowing in this animal, it's alive. Leave it alone. So it's about cruelty. Some people like to eat raw things. You know? In the next verse, it's going to talk about murder. It's the same thing with human beings. We still have the lifeblood in us. You cannot go kill somebody and spill their blood. God will hold you accountable for that. Because as long as that blood is flowing in your veins, you're alive. Okay? And it's a crime for the Lord. War is totally different. If you have to defend yourself, you have to defend yourself from an attacker, an aggressor. But for you to just go out there and hurt somebody else, no. And the interesting thing is God says, not a human being, not an animal. That's what it means about don't drink the blood, okay? So we're not vampires or anything like that. Even though there are people who drink blood, they really do.
That's so gross.
Yeah, that's wild. So let's read the next verse so you can see that. 5, and for your lifeblood I will surely demand an accounting. In other words, somebody spills your blood, I will demand accountability. I will demand an accounting from every animal. See it? Okay, so God is saying, yeah, you can eat anything, but don't be cruel to your pets or your animals. Interesting, right?
So does that include, you know how these men have like hunting season? Does that include men that just hunt for sport?
Yeah.
Because I know some people hunt and they eat, you know, the animal. Is there a difference there?
Yeah. Yeah. See, to me, it's close. Because if God says, you can eat a deer, you can't eat a deer unless you kill it. But I think what he's saying is, all right, if you have to kill it because you're hungry, fine. But don't be cruel. You know, don't try to eat the deer raw. If you're going to eat it, make sure it's dead, you know, that sort of thing. So hunting is debatable because you can hunt for food, but you can hunt for sport. Those are two different things.
Yeah.
You see the difference? And so now we have species that are disappearing because people hunt for sport. They just want to kill things.
And decorate with it.
To me, but that's just me. You know, I'm not too big on that. But I think what God is saying, yeah, you know, if you're hungry and your children need to eat, I know you can hunt animals, but make sure you do it in a humane way. You know,
Right.
You don't torture animals. You're not cruel. You have to be respectful, and the explanation is coming up. Watch this.
was on 5.
Yeah, you were in the middle of 5. You didn't finish it.
Okay. 5, right? And for your lifeblood, I will surely demand an accounting. I will demand an accounting for every animal, and from each man too. I will demand an accounting for the life of his fellow man. Look at this. 6. Whoever sheds the blood of men, by men shall his blood be shed. For in the image of God has God made man. In other words, so the reason we can't just go out there and murder somebody, and the deal with the blood, is that the blood has the life of God. And we were made in the image of God. To attack another human being is sort of to attack God. Because you were made in the image of God. So when I attack you, I'm attacking the image of God, God himself. Okay? And he's saying you need to be respectful to life.
Just like Cain did.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. So God is the giver of life and you are attacking life? No. And that's his whole point. That's the whole point about the blood. And people sometimes misconstrue it, you know, and that sort of thing. Okay, questions on that? You guys good? Verse 7, as for you, be fruitful and increase in number. Multiply on the earth and increase upon it. Guys, the guy keeps repeating this. It's like when grandparents tell the kids, make sure I have grandsons. You know, I need children. You know? Verse 8, then God said to Noah and to his sons with him, 9, I now establish my covenant with you and your descendants after you. Let me just stop there. The covenant. This is a personal covenant with Noah. Okay? And in the Old Testament, you can see all kinds of covenants. In fact, our Bibles are split in two, right? The Old Covenant and the New Covenant. Old Testament, New Testament. All it means is a covenant. The Old Testament, the Old Covenant was made with the people of Israel. The New Covenant is made with the people of the church, Christians. But these are communities of people. These covenants are made with communities, you see? This is not. This is an individual covenant. Meaning that God can make a covenant with you and with me. And you're going to see he makes a covenant with Abraham. He'll make different covenants with different people. Okay? So some people say, oh, I wish God made a covenant with me. No, be careful. Once God makes a covenant with you and you say yes, he's going to hold you accountable. A covenant is an agreement. It's a legal binding document, if you will. And if you say, yeah, I agree to do this, he expects you to do that. Okay? And so people get in a lot of trouble when they jump into that relationship. All right? In this case, we'll see what God's going to covenant with Noah. All right. 9. I now establish my covenant with you and with your descendants after you. 10. And with every living creature that was with you, the birds, the livestock, and all the wild animals, all those that came out of the ark with you, every living creature on earth. So this covenant goes beyond Noah. God's making a covenant with the animals and the birds and everything. Verse 11. I establish my covenant with you. Never again will all life be cut off by the waters of a flood. Never again will there be a flood to destroy the earth. 12. And God said, this is the sign of the covenant I am making between me and you and every living creature with you. A covenant for all generations to come. 13. I have set my rainbow in the clouds, and it will be the sign of the covenant between me and the earth. So this is a covenant that's going to last forever. As long as the earth exists, God's not going to flood the earth again. And this rainbow is the sign of the covenant. Now, the question is, before this, were there rainbows when it rained? We weren't there. Logic says, yeah, there had to be rainbows. So it's not like this is the first time we had a rainbow, we think. This just means that God chose that rainbow as a sign and said, this is the sign of my covenant, all right? And so we look at the rainbow now and we look at the story, we think it's a children's story. You know? Oh, look how cute the colors in the rainbow. No, this is a covenant with God because God had just wiped out all humanity and all creation. And after he did it, he said, I shouldn't have done that. That's bad. That was really bad. Okay. So this is interesting. Okay. Keep this in mind because God makes different covenants, but this is perpetual. Meaning, if God wants to destroy the earth, He can't do it by flood. He's going to come out with something else.
Fire.
Yeah, it's going to be fire the next time.
I don't know if it works. Water or fire.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
You want to burn everybody.
Mm-hmm. All right, verse 14. Whenever I bring clouds over the earth, and the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will remember my covenant between me and you, and all living creatures of every kind. Never again will the waters become a flood to destroy all life. Whenever the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and all living creatures of every kind on the earth. And so God said to Noah, this is the sign of the covenant I have established between me and all life on the earth. So, why is God emphasizing this thing about the covenant and the rainbow? Well, it seems to us that what God is saying is, you know, if every time some of these humans start acting out, and I start flooding everything again, this will never stop. I'm going to start killing people. This is not good. It's not going to lead us anywhere. Okay, so He said, that's it. So, a lot of people today say, why does God allow this? Look how people are. Why doesn't He put a stop to it? This is why. He said He wasn't going to do it. And things are pretty bad. And things are pretty nasty. And God doesn't do anything about it. Why, Pastor? Because God said He wouldn't do it. I hope that answered that question. You have dictators and cruel people and, all kinds of serial killers. Why doesn't God do something? Because He said He wouldn't wipe us out again. So we got to live with it. We got to live with it. How's that? Do you prefer live with it or that He floods the whole thing again?
I mean, if you think about it, if you want God to be like do something, he won't just affect that one person that's doing the damage. We're all at fault, so we're all going to be. People don't think that.
That's exactly right. So it's a matter of, why don't you kill the sinners? Well, wait a minute, we're all sinners.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to have to wipe us all out.
Mm-hmm.
That's why God said no. Okay, no. From now on, let's not go there again. I think that's an interesting thing to think about. So yeah, He would have to wipe us out every time, and that's why God said, "No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that." And things will get bad again. It just will.
Question. So I guess the time is this something that people just have said that about fire that God's supposed to destroy the earth again with fire? So He's planning to destroy it again, just not the way He did with the flood.
Yeah, in the Apostle Peter, New Testament talks about when Jesus comes back, everything's going to burn. Everything's going to burn. And that's why we're going to have new heavens and new earth. Because the old one could be gone. Totally gone. And so we have that. However, before that happens, God's going to take His church out. Rapture. Okay?
What about it? I said,
I said I'd rather burn than freaking drown, because that's one of my biggest fears is drowning.
Yeah, I don't like the water myself. Yeah, I know. But I don't know about the burning part.
You're screaming.
Well, I just think your body will go in shock, when you
True.
burn. So I don't think you'll feel it after
They
a
say
bit.
when you drown, it's like you're going to sleep.
I don't want to test
I'm
it out.
scared.
Jessie's like, I'm not burning, I'm jumping in the water. I don't know, man. All I know is both ways, you die. Not good. All right, so where was I, man? Okay.
The sons of
18.
Noah.
Yeah, 18.
18. Let's see now. This is going to get ugly here, guys. The sons of Noah who came out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham was the father of Canaan. These were the three sons of Noah, and from them came the people who were scattered over the earth. So, Adam and Eve had Abel, Cain and Abel. Cain kills Abel. Then you have to have a replacement for Abel, is Seth, right? And then we see all these descendants coming. For what? For nothing, because now everybody's wiped out. Noah survives, but Noah's descended from Seth, right? Noah survives, and he has three sons. And the Bible says from these three sons, all the families of the earth come from them. You should know this. Japheth, when you read chapter 10 and you start breaking down the nations, his descendants were the ones who populated Europe. Okay? Cam was the one who populated Canaan, land, what we call today the land of Israel, south and all Africa. And then Shem was the one from Israel to the Orient, towards Asia. Okay? So here you have it. The Bible is telling us how the whole earth was populated. It comes from these three kids. Okay? Kids. They're young guys. They're like 400 years old. Verse 20. Noah, a man of the soil, proceeded to plant a vineyard. So, Noah starts planting a vineyard. You guys know what a vineyard is? Okay. It's a garden, and he's cultivating grapes. And he's going to make wine. And he's going to start drinking. The old man's going to start drinking. And he's going to get drunk. Check it out. It's 20 again. Now, Noah, a man of the soil, proceeded to plant a vineyard. 21. When he drank some of its wine, he became drunk and lay uncovered inside his tent. So you guys remember in those days, men didn't wear pants. They had these robes, right? Just long dresses. So the guy gets drunk. He falls on his butt, not because I don't want to say the other word. He falls on his butt, and his robe is all over the place, right? So now he's butt naked. That's how bad this thing was, okay? But he's in his tent. He's like in his private place. Nobody knows about it, except 22. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw his father's nakedness and told his two brothers outside. In other words, Ham walks in, sees his old man on the floor, butt naked, and instead of helping the guy, it's like if you ever find your mom on the floor, what do? You laugh at her? No. Help her out. Mm-hmm. Not this guy. This guy sees his old man on the floor, and he goes outside to tell everybody else. And starts laughing about his old man and making fun of the guy. Okay? So that's his sin. Because it's going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly. Okay? So let me read 22 again. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw his father's nakedness and told his two brothers outside. But Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it across their shoulders. Then they walked in backward and covered the father's nakedness. Their faces were turned the other way so that they would not see the father's nakedness. So here's what happens. The two other brothers said, you should be laughing at this man. He just saved your life and our lives. Okay? So he got drunk and felt fine. But let's help this man out, okay? So what they do is they put like let's say a curtain or something like that, and they hold it and they walk in backwards. And as they see the feet of the old man, they start covering him up so that nobody can see his nakedness. Because when the Bible talks about nakedness, it's not just being naked. It's his shame. you honor your father and your mother. You don't shame them. And this other guy shamed him. You know what I mean? If you need to have respect for your elders, respect for adults, respect for your parents, this guy did not have that. Big no-no. And he's going to pay a big price for his sin. Okay. Verse 24, right?
Mhm.
When Noah awoke from his wine and found out what his youngest son had done to him, he said, "Cursed be Cain." Remember God blessed him?
Mhm.
Now there's a guy with a curse. Cursed be Cain. The lowest of slaves will be to his brothers. So now he's condemned to a life of slavery. 26. He also said, "Blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem. May Canaan be the slave of Shem. May God extend the territory of Japheth. May Japheth live in the tents of Shem, and may Canaan be his slave." After the flood, Noah lived 350 years. Altogether, Noah lived 950 years, and then he died. We got several things to talk about here, boy. Okay. First, where did Noah learn how to make wine? If this was the first time anybody made wine, this is actually the first man in recorded history who got drunk. Okay? However, we have to think that he learned it where he lived. There's a reason why God flooded everybody else. These guys were partying, getting drunk. You know what I mean? That's why God flooded the whole earth. It was just crazy. So we think that's where he picked it up from. But he set out to build a vineyard and make him some wine. Why did the old man need to drink?
He's been through a lot.
He did. He went through a lot. God, thank you. Exactly right. Okay? This guy, we talk about, oh, this is great. This big story about Noah's Ark and the rainbow. It's all pretty. Well, let's think about it. In the flood, talk about trauma. He lost his family. He survived. He lost all his brothers, his sisters, his uncles, his aunts, any cousins, any relatives, everything's wiped out. Wiped out. Okay. His sons, they lost their cousins, and their uncles, and their aunts. The whole family, everybody's gone. Yeah, it's great. Noah survived. Yay! We're all alone. Everybody's dead. There's a thing called survivor's trauma. You guys heard about that? It's like when a soldier at war, when everybody around him dies and he survives, this guy's hurting. There's a thing called guilt. Why am I the only one who survived? It happens in storms and earthquakes and big accidents, right? Everybody dies except you. And people have survivor's trauma. And we think Noah's going through that. You have to cope with the fact that everybody you knew is dead. They're all gone. And why did you survive? Because you built the ark, man. And you didn't let anybody else in. Okay? Well, when you're hurt this way, you need to control. The old man was trying to cope with the pain. How about this one? Adam and Eve went through a lot. We went through that, right? And not only did Adam and Eve went through a lot, they also got kicked out of the garden. Have you ever been rejected, thrown out, not accepted? This is what happened to them. Okay? So I think the point we're trying to see in the Bible is God is trying to tell us, human beings, we have been through a lot. We go through a lot of pain. And most of us have some sort of trauma. And we have to deal with that. And our families become dysfunctional because of that. For Adam and Eve, It was Cain. He was the cursed one. Okay? Well, history has a way of repeating itself, especially in family. So yeah, Noah survived. But now Noah has his own Cain. His own cursed son. Cain. You see what I'm saying? So all of a sudden, the story just repeats itself. Even after a flood. It happens again. Okay? So all the way throughout history, you and I, our families, are the same way. That's what sin does. We carry sin. We carry pain and hurt and trauma from generation to generation. Sure, some are hurt more than others. Okay? Because in this case, like Noah made it, man. Yeah, but he's in bad shape.
Yeah.
He's in bad shape. Okay? So it's important for us to think of it and reflect on it, because sometimes we just think it's a children's story. It is not.
Kind of depressing.
It is.
Because, I mean, he didn't just see his family gone, he saw the world kind of die.
Who does this guy talk to now? If he wants to play a game of basketball, he can't. Well, they didn't know anything about basketball, I don't think. Well, you know what I mean, right?
Just imagine being on a boat for a year.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. In the wind. You think Tuesday's wind was bad? Just imagine the wind, the rain, and the flood, and you for a year, not a night. It wasn't about Tuesday night. This is a whole year.
And they couldn't see sunlight or light or anything like that. They were in that dark area.
That darkness. So think about the fear. Because you're like, oh, I'm so glad God put me in the boat, man. But look, if you look left, you look right, everything's dead. Everything's dead. How do you like to walk out like in a place like that? Everything's dead. And everyone you know is dead. I think that's scary stuff.
Yeah.
Okay?
Sad,
Yeah. So this man, he just got drunk. He said, forget about it. I don't want to think about it. I'm gone. Okay? And he checked out. He just checked out. Okay? So here's what I'm going to take it with you. Sometimes we as Christians don't understand certain things. Sometimes we see somebody's nakedness. I don't mean we see somebody without clothes on.
Mm-hmm.
We see their shame. We see their pain. We see their hurt. We see their trauma. For the most part, when people are behaving in a certain way, acting out in church, causing trouble, they're in pain. Something's wrong with them, you know what I mean? And they're trying to deal and cope with their issues and their problems. Okay. My job's a little complicated because I know that. But here's the thing. You have to learn how to cope with your issues. Because we all have them. A responsible adult needs to take accountability of these issues and deal with your stuff, deal with your baggage. But you can't dump it on somebody else. You can't come to church and just inflict pain on other people. So my job is to try to help people with their pain. At the same time, I'm going to help them as long as they don't hurt others, especially don't hurt the church. Okay? So what we do with people who are acting out, people who we see their nakedness, is don't shame them. And sometimes this happens in churches, right? You see somebody doing certain things, we go around talking about that person, right? Well, listen to me. It's like if I see somebody who's drunk, or we see somebody who's drunk, what are you going to do about that? Are you going to come back and shame the person and say, I saw Jessie drunk. She's a drunk. Did you know she's a drunk? You didn't know that? Let me tell you about her. Which is what this guy did, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, she's not going to come back to church, right? I mean, she's shamed. She's shamed. So the attitude should be, if we see her drunk, something's going on with her. And we need to help her. We need to pray for her. I'm not saying let's get drunk. I'm not saying, Jesse, next time you invite me, I'm not saying that. Right? Because we shouldn't. We know it's Christian, we should. But she's my sister, he's my brother. Let's cover their nakedness. Let's find a way. Hey man, are you okay? Is there something I can help you with? Do you need someone to talk to? You know? find a way to help this person. And so, in the New Testament, in the church, we build up people. We don't destroy them. Okay? Now, again, if she starts inviting people in church to go get drunk with her, guess what I'm going to do? Hey, stop it. You can't do that. Okay? I need to protect the other ones. Okay? Because it's a matter of, you want to get drunk? Do it on your own time. Do it on your own time. But don't start inviting people to do that sort of stuff. Drugs, anything else. That's just an example, right? Sometimes people don't know limits and boundaries. And because they've behaved in such a way that nobody's ever told them that they're going to be accountable for stuff, they don't care. You can't tell me what to do. Well, actually, God tells us what to do. The Bible tells us what to do. And that's what a pastor is for. To tell you, don't do that. Okay? And as long as you're not harming people, but building them up, edifying them, loving them, you're fine. Okay? And the reason I know that we all have trauma and pain and hurt is because I have hurts. I have pains. My family has traumas. You understand? That's where we all come from. That's why Jesus died for us on the cross, because we're all A-L-L sinners. Everybody. Some people feel so much shame. Oh, people in my family, they'd be embarrassed. All our families is this way. We all come from this place. That's where we come from. It's not a good place. Okay? You know, my great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, he got drunk and he got naked, man. There he is. You know what I mean? So, it's a matter of how you deal with that. And the first thing is to acknowledge it, recognize is that, you know what? This is what happens. So in the end, what do? Help each other out with all these things. Okay? Now, I don't know what hurts you, what hurts you. I don't know what kind of pain you have, but this is what it's all about. To help each other out in the church. Okay? Not to shame people, not to discover their nakedness. Don't be like him. Be like the other guys. All right. Questions? Comments? Does it make sense? Good. There we go. So do you guys think, you guys feel like getting drunk thing?
Let's go.
Yeah, Pastor Ray, you're after Bible study. Let's go. Yeah. That's right. This is so sad that Canaan was cursed this way. The old man was angry, really angry. This guy. How do you think the relationship between father and son went on? Because it says here that Noah lived 350 years after that. I don't know, but I don't think the family dynamics were too good here. Now, he didn't curse Ham, his son. He cursed Ham's son, which is Cain.
His grandson.
His grandson, man. You should know also something about this text. And this is important. This is how slavery was justified. Because Ham and his descendants were the people who lived in Africa. And based on the racist interpretation, God made them black. That's the curse, to be black skinned. Okay? And this is why, because Canaan's supposed to be a slave, that's how slavery was justified in the United States. Because it was okay, it was legitimate to enslave black people, because the Bible said that they were supposed to be slaves. This is not exactly the same thing that the Bible is talking about. Okay? But that's what the slave owners were saying to themselves. And the Civil War was fought over biblical interpretation. People in the North said, that's not what it says here. We're not talking about black people. And the people in the South, the racist white Christians, were saying, yeah. Okay? So nowhere in the Bible does it say that God cursed black people or cursed this bunch of white people and turned them into black people. It just doesn't say that. Okay? It doesn't say that. It does say that the other two sons, the descendants of the two sons, were going to dominate over the other one. Okay? And we've seen that. In this area, you had the Greeks conquered, the Persians conquered, and just took the Romans conquered. Every other empire just dominated in the area. So we see that. But most of that history has nothing to do with Africa at all. Africa, for the matter of fact, it's just barely mentioned in the Bible. Okay? But I want you to know that's where it comes. People say, why did the southern races believe this stuff? Oh, and by the way, I need to tell you this truth. Okay? And if you leave tonight and you get drunk, you never come back to my church, that's fine, but you need to know. You know who were these southern white races? They were the Democrats. You should know that. The Yankees from the north, the white people in the north were the Republicans. The people in the south, the slave owners, were the Democrats. You should know that. People don't know history. They're the ones who came up with this stuff. Until this day. I need to tell you that. Till this day. How do whites still enslave minorities? Because we're still slaves. I'm sorry to tell you.
Yeah.
We're economic slaves. How does that happen?
Like, you mean, like, how does the government do that?
Yeah, how does the government does that? We're second-class citizens. We don't have the same economic opportunities, working opportunities. We're allowed to live here, but we're cheap labor.
They make it seem like we have freedom, but we really, in a way, we don't really.
Yes. We're here to do their bidding. It's like these Mexican illegals, right? They don't have to pay medical insurance or benefits or Social Security. So this is what happens, okay? We're still slaves. It has not changed. Racism is still here, but it's done in such a way that it's hard for you to see it.
It blinds you.
Yeah, it blinds you because, yeah, you're free to move, but you're going to be cheap labor here, cheap labor there, cheap labor anywhere. Okay, it still happens. Okay, so you guys need to think about that because the people on the news on TV, they're not telling you the truth. They're just not. Okay. Anyways, I hope you don't leave the church and don't get drunk. All right. Any other questions? Let's go to chapter 10. And I'm just going to go through some. This is going to be pretty quick. Some of these names are funny, so excuse me. Verse 10. This is the account of Shem, Ham, and Japheth, Noah's sons, who themselves had sons after the flood. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, Magog. Remember Gog and Magog? Sorry, when we studied the book of Revelations, there was the countries up far north.
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling you. It's far north and west. That's Europe. Okay? Okay. There are scholars who spend their whole careers figuring out all these little nations and who's this and who's that. They write books on this stuff. I kind of read them, but I'm not going to waste my time with this, okay? I know a little bit about it, but I'm not going to go crazy on it. All right, good for them, right? The sons of Japheth, 2, Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Mesech, and Tiras. The son of Gomer. See, this is what gets crazy. Ashkenaz, Riphat, and Togarmah. The sons of Javan, Elijah, Tarshish. You know what Tarshish actually is? Spain.
Spain?
Yeah.
Huh.
Crazy, right? The Kittim and the Rodanim. From these, the maritime people spread out into the territories by their clans, within their nations, each with its own language. See, all the people who live in the coast, Mediterranean Sea, okay? The Hamites. 6, the sons of Ham, Cush, Mizraim. Put, and Canaan. The sons of Cush, Seba, Havilah, Shepha, Rama, and Sabteka. The sons of Rama, Sheba, and Dedan. 8. Cush was the father of Nimrod. Nimrod's an important guy for tonight and for next week. Cush was the father of Nimrod, who grew to be a mighty warrior on the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. That is why it said, like Nimrod, a mighty hunter before the Lord. The first centers of his kingdom were Babylon and empire. Erech, Akkad, and Kalish, and Shinar. From that land, he went to Assyria, where he built Nineveh. You've heard Nineveh, right? From the prophet Jonah. Rehoboth, Calah, and Resen, which is between Nineveh and Calah. That is the great city. Okay, and you should know there's something missing in this translation. I'm trying to look. Okay, so what is capital city? This is wild. It's not written here. You know what his capital city is? Babel. Remember the Tower of Babel, which we're going to study next week? This is the guy who built that. And when he says he was the first mighty guy over the earth, it's like, think of him like a dictator. The first powerful king, ruler, that sort of guy. Okay, he's the guy who's trying to be in charge of everything. And this is the first powerful man this way. Okay? He's a key person. So next week, it's chapter 11, the Tower of Babel. All right. 13, right? Mizraim was the father of the Ludites, the Anamites, the Eliabites. See all the bites here? Naphthalites, Perizzites, Cushites, and from whom the Philistines came, and the Caphtorites, whatever who they are.
Oh, Jesse, that was funny.
What'd she say? What'd she say?
She was like parasite.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. 15. And Canaan was the father of Sidon, his firstborn, and the Hittites, Jebusites, Amorites, Girgashites, Hivite. Whoever me, you know. All right, let's just finish. I'm going to skip all the other ites. Later, the Canaanites clan scattered. 19. And the borders of Canaan reached from Sidon towards Gerar as far as Gaza, and then towards Sodom and Gomorrah, Admah, Zebulun, as far as Lasha. These are the sons of Ham by their clans and languages in their territories and nations. So now we've met Nimrod. We're going to meet another character here. 21. Sons were also born to Shem, whose older brother was Japheth. Shem was the ancestor of all the sons of Ber. The sons of Shem, Elam, Ashur, Arphaxad, Lud, and Aram. The sons of Aram, Uz, Hul, Gether, and Mesech. Arphaxad was the father of Shelah, and Shelah was the father of Eber. 2 sons were born to Eber. One was Peleg. This was the key guy. One was named Peleg because in his time, the earth was divided. His brother's name was Hakdan. Why was the earth divided? During his time, the earth was divided. Okay, you should know that there are 2 possibilities here. One says, here's where the earth was divided because now we have different nations. And people had different languages. Before they were all one. So it's a possibility. But remember when we were talking about the flood, we were talking about all the continents together. So one possibility is here's where the earth was divided. And now we have separate continents, okay? Yeah. Interesting, right? Where was I, man? 26? Joktan was the father of Almodad, Shalaf, Hazar. Oh man, forget it. All right. 30. The region where they I tried. 30. The region where they lived stretched from Mesha towards Safar in the eastern hill country. 31. These are the sons of Shem by their clans and languages in their territories and nations. 32. These are the clans of Noah's sons, according to their lines of descent. within their nations. From these, the nations spread out over the earth after the flood. So, last week, we had one man with 3 sons and all their wives coming out of the ark. Now we have whole nations. This is how fast this thing happens. They were fruitful, they multiplied. Nations, okay? Isn't that crazy? And this guy, Nimrod, next week, he's going to build his Tower of Babel. He wants to be the emperor. Big dog. And he's going to challenge God. Okay? And that's why the Tower of Babel has to come down. God can't allow this. A mere human mortal to think he's immortal. Okay? We'll talk about this next week. But you see about when we talk about trauma, now and next week when we talk about pride, power. If God would wipe us out every single time for some of these things, this is like every week we're going to be flooded. You know what I mean? Okay? And just think about it, how God is merciful because, I mean, I think things were bad then.
Okay.
But I think things are pretty bad today, you know? And I just think of God's mercy because I imagine some days he feels like, man, I wish I hadn't made that little agreement with Noah. I just wiped him off. You know what I mean?
There's some horrible people though in this world.
Say that.
There's so many horrible people in this world.
And the thing I want to go back to, because it keeps confusing me, because you said that he made that agreement with Noah, but I thought it was just for not flooding the earth anymore.
Yeah.
You know, but he's saying that he's going to burn the earth this time. I don't know why he doesn't do it, just, knowing all those stuff that's going on.
Yeah. For some reason, God is bent on saving us.
Okay.
He could end this thing. Just, it's over. Come on. And he doesn't.
It gives us chances to change.
He gives humanity that opportunity. And he was like, why?
And he's patient too, which is amazing. To have that patience
Yeah.
for years and years.
And people making the same mistakes.
Over and over. It's not like God hasn't seen this before. He's seen us do this. It's cyclical. It's cyclical.
I don't feel me. Because if he's saying it over and over and over again, it's like, okay, when is this going to stop?
Right? If it was up to you and me, we just finish the thing. But he doesn't do that. We wish he would come back as soon as possible. When we say, I hope Jesus comes back tonight, what you're saying is, burn the place down. That's what you're saying, right? Finish it. And he does it. And people keep asking, Pastor, why doesn't Jesus come back? Well, think about it, man. You're going to have to burn the whole place. Wipe out everybody. It's not a light decision here.
And I feel like he's like waiting. I mean, I want to see how many souls I can. Yeah, because imagine if he comes now, half of the world will not go.
Yeah.
Like stay behind.
So let's go there. Who do we save? Was Noah such a good person? That's why he was saved? Were his sons so holy, pure, spiritual? That's why they were saved?
I don't think they were because they were like perfect. I think Noah was in the right path, but he still carried sin. But he still maintained his eye on the Lord.
Mm-hmm. Which is exactly the way we are. We love the Lord, we go to church, we worship, we're sinners. You see it? And this is like, what? Thousands and thousands of years ago. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed.
Things are worse now. Everything's a lot worse.
And God is still there hanging in there with us, you know? To me, it just blows my mind away. Because we say, I'm patient, but I have my limits. But this guy's like, putting up with a lot.
Like, I just wonder if I ever think, why did I create humanity? You know, of like, well,
It makes you think.
yeah.
It does. It's like, wait a minute.
See,
If we're so horrible,
Why even be
yeah, see, he know what we're gonna do. Why he created us, you know?
Why not stop it?
Yeah.
Like stop Eve from even eating the apple. You know.
that's the big question. There's obviously a problem with humanity. Why didn't he just fix it? I'm not saying destroy humanity. Just fix the problem.
I think it comes where he, and how the word says he's a gentleman. He's not gonna just intrude. He gave us that right to either you choose me or you choose the path. And I think if he does something without us giving him that passage, then that doesn't make him different from us.
Janeska's saying, well, he's not going to impose the fix. The fix, she says, is for people who say, Lord, fix me. You know, I want you to fix me. There's nothing wrong with me. So God makes an invitation, you accept, then it happens. He's not going to impose a flood anymore on everybody. He doesn't impose salvation on anybody. It's if you want to. So through his son, Jesus Christ, that's the fix of the problem. He's fixing the problem. But the only people who get fixed are those who accept the invitation.
Yeah, I mean, okay, and that, I mean, yes, that's the, I want to put it the fix for now, but we're talking for the beginning. You know, he knows the way we want to act. He know, you know, what's going on, why create us that way. You know, that's the question.
So Carlos is making a distinction. Wait a minute. This is a fix for me individually. If I accept Jesus Christ, he's going to heal me, right? Fine. But that doesn't fix humanity. Humanity keeps on collision with that.
I also think the reason he doesn't fix things because it's almost like when you're a little kid, if dad's always doing something for you, you expect him to always be able to do it for you. And for us, for God to fix every time we do something bad,
Yeah.
I feel like people are going to keep going and keep doing the same thing, you know?
We learn our lesson.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So God is holding us accountable based on how we live.
Mm-hmm.
And Carlos is talking about how parents sometimes overprotect their children, right?
Mm-hmm.
God doesn't do that with us. He's like, you're on there on your own, okay?
He's a tough love.
It's tough love.
Mm-hmm.
Deal with it. It's sort of like deal with it. Do your best. Yeah, that's tough love. You know, it's like, please take me with you.
And I think people confuse that because a lot of people like they preach, oh, you know, God is love, 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 and he's saying that. I'm like, but you have to remember, he's gonna treat you like his child, and he's not gonna always be lovey.
Yeah.
You're gonna have some consequences. And
Yes, and that's how we're gonna finish with this. There were consequences to Adam and Eve. There were consequences to Noah. There were consequences to his sons. Through the Bible, you're gonna see that all the time. There are consequences. Yeah, it's tough love.
Mm-hmm.
Very tough love. People don't get that. There are limits. People wish there weren't any. They want to do as they please, but God doesn't play that way.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to say to Adam and Eve, what did you do? Okay? And then the next thing he says, what? Really? You're out of here.
And it's sad if you think about it because we're the ones that put God in that position of having to give us that type of toughness.
Yeah.
Because before, I mean,
He tried. He
He
talked to
tried,
us.
like he was right next, like we walked with him, and then we just decided, oh no, and now he has to give, you know,
Right.
be that type of father to us.
Right. And you were about to say, Jess?
No.
Yes. So I think we put ourselves in this position, and God is respecting our decision. But he's allowing us to learn from our bad decisions, and hope you have two choices. You keep doing it, or you say, no. I choose not to do that. Okay? And so we are those who said no. No to the world means, Lord, I learned my lesson. I think this is wrong. Let's try to do it some other way. Okay? That's what's at stake here. All through the Bible. From the beginning, all the way through. It's the same story. It's the same story.
It really is just different situations.
Yes. Different characters, different situation, same story. Over and over and over again.
And the moral of it is to have faith and pick the good way, not the bad way.
Exactly. It's how you respond to this challenge. Some people do respond well. Other people just, you're crazy.
Just like that lady where he was gonna blow up the city because it was bad. I don't remember the lady's name, but she told her, don't turn around, and told the other guy.
Yeah, Sodom and Gomorrah. Lot and his wife.
Yeah, and she turned around, so she disobeyed him, so she, I guess, blew up or whatever.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that now, you know?
Statue of salt.
Yeah,
there
so,
you go.
The statue of salt. Yeah, but then the fire came from heaven. Everybody's gone. Yeah, those two cities were torched, burned to the ground. Everybody's gone. Yeah, we're gonna say that one too.
yeah.
We're gonna say that one too. Right? So, anyways, I think it was a good discussion. I'm glad you guys were in the zone tonight. And as you can see, it's beyond the children's story. The story of the rainbow, boy, you sit down and think about it, you go, whoa.
You don't think about it when you're a kid. I mean,
You don't, 'cause I never seen it, taught this way before. There's just, there's more, sadness to go to it as well, and the situations that they're placed in.
Until you digest it,
Yeah.
you don't really comprehend. Wow, this is actually really sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Comments?
Question. Because I was thinking about this all the time when you were talking about animals. I know back then in the beginning, animals never were eating other animals. And what's the transition now? Because I know how we sinned and everything changed. Is that when we sin, even animals change too?
It seems that way. The person who talks a lot about that is Apostle Paul in his letters to the Romans. And he's saying the whole creation is waiting for the second coming of Jesus Christ, because once we're set free, they will be set free. And it's like freaky thing. There's some passages in Isaiah, the prophet Isaiah, and it talks about when God reveals himself, the trees will worship God. The branches are going to be like hands. You know how we raise our hands and stuff? And you go, huh. Okay? Think about when the prophet says the lion and the lamb will sit together. And you go, wait a minute, how did that happen? Okay? Well, when sin is taken away, not only will you and I be different, animals, plants, creation will be different. I think it's just going to blow us away. Yeah. Yeah. I think so. I can't be sure, but it just makes sense.
Yeah.
It just makes sense.
I mean, because in the beginning they did, so why couldn't that happen again?
Yeah. So think about it. An animal used to speak, and through an animal, Satan deceived the human beings. So God decides no more animals will talk to any human beings again. And there's a reason for that. Interesting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, how did you put it that way?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But we. But this is what people experience when they have pets, whether it's dogs or cats. You relate to your pets. You hold them in your hand. They love you. They kiss you. We speak to them. They understand. You speak to a flower, it just blossoms. A plant, right? They know.
It's crazy,
They just know.
Plants breathe, and give us oxygen. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah, there's something there, and we won't see the full manifestation till the second coming. But Paul says the whole creation will be set free. You know, I think it just blows away. It blows away.
For sure.
So if you really think about it, it's like the whole creation's under a curse.
Yes.
Because
Oh yes.
if you want
It's there.
to look at it that way.
Yes. Absolutely. Even the snakes who were yapping away with Eve, they can't speak anymore. God said, "Sit it. That's it." Okay. I don't want to hear it. That's it. It's an amazing thing. But can you imagine talking to serpents and stuff? Isn't that
That
crazy?
scared me. But
They're gonna go.
I would love to know what my dog thinks like constantly because he's a savage. I'm like, why are you a savage? Love to know.
Oh my god.
But what's funny is we see these movies, the kids' movies especially, the Disney ones, and all these animals are talking.
Yeah.
Think about it. And people, well, yeah, it's just a movie. Okay. Okay.
Sure. Like the Lion King. Yeah, sure.
Exactly. What's that dude? What's that little dude and the Little Mermaid guy? Think of that.
oh,
The red,
the
the
mermaid.
crab,
Yeah.
the lobster.
Yeah, the crab. The
What's
crab.
his name?
Sebastian.
Sebastian.
Yeah.
He's a pretty cool dude.
No, Sebastian's the fish, isn't it?
No, Sebastian is
That's
the
my,
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was my favorite cartoon
Right,
when
right.
I was little.
That's gonna be pretty cool. Hey man, Sebastian, how you doing?
I
Huh?
think there is mermaids because they say they've seen mermaids before.
See, we haven't even discovered half of
Yeah.
the sea yet.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think the sea is in full another world down there.
Yeah.
So who knows what the Lord has deep in the ocean.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, the universe is so big.
Yeah.
To me, obviously, this is not the only planet. To me, so
I mean, there has to be reasons why he made
Imagine
so
if
many
there's another
planets.
planet that has a whole group of people over there.
yeah.
You're twins.
This is Jesse from Planet 2.
Oh my goodness.
That's what happened in the Flash.
Yeah.
Like, they go between worlds
right.
and they have planet 2.0 and they're the same people. So no.
Oh,
Yeah. Anyways, I'm glad you guys are into the word. I know people don't teach it in a way that people find it interesting and challenging, but that's the whole thing. This is an interesting book. Most people don't know how to teach it, and they teach it wrong. And, it's bad. It just turns off people.
Yeah, I say you make it more in a funner way because I hate reading. That's I don't like reading, but once you start learning it makes
Yeah.
you want to read more.
Yeah. Don't feel bad. I didn't like to read myself. This is how I learned to read. I loved it. And after I read this one, I went to college. And the books they gave me in college, there's nothing. Once you read your Bible, that's it.
Yeah.
You can read anything.
I think the Bible's the only book in the world that
That's
you
like-
can read it 100 times and 100 times will be completely different.
Yeah. So that's fine. But then after I read this one, I loved reading. I started reading. I read everything. It's like I can do it.
Not even make fun of, but because I would rather prefer watch a video about what I'm about to read.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can say everything.
No, your generation, I understand that. See, but we didn't grow up with videos and stuff. This is what we had.
I like to read.
I love
This is what we had. This is like our video game.
It really is because you can pick up a book and you can just imagine what that book.
Yeah.
You can imagine your own characters.
Yeah, that's a
food.
big
Your mind completely
Yeah.
like leaves. It's just
That's what my problem is. Because like when you read something, I want to see it. You know, I don't want to just read. I want to see it. 'Cause
Yeah.
it looks interesting in the book, but I don't see
like
it.
kids books where you are. I mean, I don't. You like the picture books?
Yeah.
Oh my God,
No, for real.
I'm like being
No,
serious
yeah.
because that's how I used to be
Yeah, That's what I
until
like.
I started like reading and I love.
But see, you know how you can read the book or see the movie, and the movie is never like the book.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
people that read the book don't like the movies, and I feel it's because the book just goes more in depth,
More in detail.
Absolutely.
more detailed.
Absolutely. And this is what happens to me. I can watch all these biblical movies, and I just can't stand them. I watch them for entertainment purposes. I want to know something? I'm going to read the book.
Just like they remade Noah,
Yeah.
and it's just like what, and then the book of Moses.
Moses.
Yeah.
I'm like this what?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, it was kind of weird.
Hollywood
Noah
just
one.
destroys something
Yeah,
so
in the
good.
beginning when it started out, it was kind of weird.
Yeah, with Noah was the stone guys, right? The rock thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. I once you read this and then you watch that movie, you go, no.
Yeah, because they said that one of the guys, one of the sons, didn't have a girlfriend or whatever in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
But then here he does, right? In the Bible.
The three sons, Noah's
Yeah.
son, they all had wives.
Yeah, and then in that movie it showed that only
Yeah.
one had a wife.
And that one person trying to get on the ship.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was like,
So
Hollywood.
Hollywood is
Hollywood stories.
yeah.
And it's funny because they know the word. If they're making movies
Yeah.
about this, and then
They
know.
research it. They research it. Right?
They
That's
know.
what they do.
They try to put a spin on it to get people.
it's kind
They
of
just
scary though,
destroy
the movie Noah. Like, it would, whenever Noah went out there to go get his son, it kind of looked crazy. They were like eating people and just
Yeah, it's just why ruin such a.
Jesse, what do you love scaring yourself, don't you? She watches all these crazy movies. Don't worry, I do too, baby.
Oh, I can't do scary movies.
No?
I know that they'll go me for mommy. The last movie I saw that was scary was I think it was the first paranormal activity freaked me
That
out.
scared me.
I slept with my mom.
I didn't see that one.
I don't know. It was just I'm like I'm never again. And then there's a what's it called? It.
Oh, the new one?
The new one, It.
That's
See,
I
that's
hate that.
that's just too much.
Hello.
That's just,
Mom said she wanted to take
Hey.
you to see.
apparently, it's based off a novel.
Yeah, give me a second. I'll be right back, guys. Hold on.
Okay.
It's from what's his name?
Apparently, it's like really creepy. The book is like super.
Well, the first one was creepy, and this is supposed to be a remake of the first one. The
Of the
first one
old
was when
movie?
when they were kids, and this is when they're little, like maybe like her age, you know, in middle school.
Yeah, because I was reading because one of that I follow, one of my